The power rankings of the NFC North, Steve. We've talked about this division. We talked about them last year. They had 3 teams go to the postseason in 2024. Right now, we have the Vikings at 3-3. We have the Lions at 5-2, the Bears at 4-2, the Packers at 4-1 because they have that bye. So everybody is at 500 or better. Where would you like to start? Because I have a question with all of them. And I think when I asked around, this was the consensus that I got. I don't think we know exactly where these teams are going to be at the end of the year right now.
I do.
And I think that's fair on a lot of teams in the league, actually. You do know? You know what I mean? Like, I think
I would
an
say
interesting start to the year.
I know what the bottom half is going to look like.
All right, tell me.
And I think it begins with the Minnesota Vikings.
Let's start there.
And the reason I believe it begins with the Minnesota Vikings is you have a conundrum where you have Carson Wentz, who I don't think that he's the starting quarterback on the Detroit Lions or the Chicago Bears or the Green Bay Packers because his inability to be consistent, right? But he's better than J.J. McCarthy.
I don't think – I love that you said it.
Yes.
I don't think you're the only one thinking it.
Yeah.
Because
right? I don't think J.J. McCarthy is ready to take on the starting role. He sees it. You know, some people say a tick late. Nah, partner. He sees it late as hell. He has to wait to see it open to throw the football, and that's just being young, right?
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't given a ton of responsibility in Michigan. They did a really good job, and I think Kevin O'Connell was so spawned from how Sam Darnold played that it was hell. He made the decision after the game in the press conference. Sam just got to play better. I was like, oh, damn.
Sam is playing better.
He sure is.
You know who else playing pretty well right now?
Way better.
I do want to say that they had 3 options that they were looking at. Sam Darnold playing outstanding. Daniel Jones playing outstanding.
He was on the team.
And he was on the team. They offered him a deal to come back. I do think Daniel Jones did what was best for him and I'm going to the open competition and a chance to win the job right away.
Here's what I love. You hear everybody talk about the Daniel Jones and Minnesota, the Daniel Jones and the Colts, and everybody you've heard says Shane Steichen gave Daniel Jones, this word I've heard a number of times, a legitimate shot to compete.
Yes.
That is key because sometimes they bring in a veteran or a stopgap, and that it ain't really competition.
All quarterback competitions are not competitions.
They don't want that stopgap guy to ever play.
And
they
I appreciate
just want the knowledge that this stopgap can help speed up, accelerate the mental process for the young player. Great example, the New York football Giants. Russell Wilson can't teach Jackson Dart how to read coverages because Russell Wilson can't even read damn coverages himself.
And listen, you wouldn't have overpaid for Daniel Jones. You would have probably had to pay more. You would have had to pay more for Sam Darnold. I'm talking about if you were the Vikings. You would have had to pay more for Sam Darnold for sure. But you wouldn't have had to break the bank for Daniel Jones. And you were interested in Aaron Rodgers, who took very little this year actually to play for the Steelers. But you did put all of your eggs in one basket of one player. And the part I wanted to ask you is I remember, because I covered this a lot, that rookie year of Patrick Mahomes sitting behind Alex Smith, who played outstanding. There was no threat to him taking Alex's job. Yeah, Utah right there. Remember that year? Alex played great. But
hey,
what
remember
they
that
saw,
year? That was it was everybody. When you talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, everybody talked about how this young quarterback Patrick Mahomes is lighting it up in practice.
That's the point I'm getting at. Because the back end of that year, he's running the scout team. Hey, we need you to do this. He's just making plays on the practice field, left and right. He's in the meeting room with Alex. Everybody's seeing him on the field. And when they finished that season, it wasn't even a question. We're going to try to do, and this is what Andy does, do what's best for Alex to get him another starting opportunity.
Andy does a
somewhere.
great job with that every player. If you don't screw Andy over, he won't screw you over.
Exactly. And they got Alex, to Washington starting, and they went on with Patrick. My point of the difference here and the way I'm looking at it is that was a ready-made playoff Super Bowl contending team. They go with Patrick's first year in 2018. Remember, lose in an unbelievable game. I was at it to Tom Brady in the AFC Championship game in the snow. Yeah. And so they knew that was a great team. They saw it with a really good team. We saw it in practice. We can give it to them. Kevin O'Connell has a Super Bowl contending roster. But they never saw really J.J. McCarthy on the field all year. He missed his entire rookie year. He was in meetings. They had
because of injuries, not his fault.
Because of the meniscus. Yep. And he was in camp playing well, but he wasn't going to start the year. But my point is, you put all your eggs in this one basket of a Super Bowl contending roster on a guy you've seen very little in. How would you feel if you're Justin Jefferson, if you're Jordan Addison, and you know what type of skill player you are?
Let me tell you. So, first of all, Jordan Addison is thriving under Carson Wentz because when Carson Wentz finds his go-to guy, he is going to – Carson Wentz is like Lois Lane and Justin Jefferson is Superman. He calling Superman for everything, right? And treating JJ like he over there like Robin with no damn superpowers ever. Like
Robin did have no superpower.
What'd you say?
Robin did have no superpower.
Robin didn't have no superpower. All he did,
just a dude.
Great Scott Batman. If you don't sit your ass down, Robin, and do something, right? Go rotate the tires off the Batmobile. Do something. Get your ass out the way.
Get yourself useful, grease monkey. Go ahead.
Holy gas strikes, Batman. What are we gonna do? We gonna save the day. Sit your ass down.
I'm gonna save the day.
Yeah. But Justin Jefferson, I haven't talked to him. I haven't talked to any of his people. I'm just watching how when you're wide open, underthrown ball, bro, that walk back. So look, here's how I know he's frustrated. Underthrown ball, or I think it was thrown in double coverage. Justin pointed to the sideline. Yo. Put somebody else in, I'm tired. And he walked to the sideline. You know what that walk is? It's the same walk he has when I hit a bad shot on a golf course. Man, you just got to walk that thing off. You got to talk to yourself.
You just tell the guy in the cart to just go. I'm going to walk.
I tell him, I say, man, I got to walk. I got to talk to myself. You know what you're talking? You are walking yourself off the emotional ledge from snapping on everybody. I'm talking about the head coach, the offensive coordinator, the ball boy who's gonna say something to you, the person who asks you, "No, I don't want no damn water because I ain't done nothing." Right? But you look thirsty and you look tired. You said you needed a rest. If you don't get your ass on, just put the bottle down. Just put the bottle down.
Yeah.
Right? Give me some electrolytes. I'm cramping because my heart rate is racing and I'm pissed. Right? So I just think when you look at the Minnesota Vikings offensively, they have a quarterback issue, right? They don't want to admit it. They won't admit it publicly. But you can't continue to go with J.J. McCarthy because by the time he figures out the game plan, it's in the fourth quarter. You don't have enough time. You can't play football like that. Sometimes they put too much on a young man's plate, and they expect, just because he's shown a little bit of life, that all of a sudden he's going to carry the team.
That was part of what Kevin O'Connell, to my understanding, thought was going to happen this year, Steve. He thought that he would have J.J. McCarthy for the course of the year. You've talked in other episodes about how that first month of the season, you figure things out, you grow. Second month of the season, same thing. He was hoping he'd have J.J. McCarthy on the field for all of that, and by the time December rolls around, I have a different quarterback than I had in September, but he hasn't played. That's the tough spot.
So you know what that's called? His plans were based off, my favorite. T's and B's, baby. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
I knew it. They're getting some other guys back, so we'll see what they can do the rest of the team. I mean, they more or less got a bank on trying to be good in the red zone, limit their turnovers, have Brian Flores' defense play well. I hate to say that with the weapons that they have, but that's kind of what they're doing. Moving up one, Steve, to the 4-2 Bears. A lot of people thought maybe this team wins 4 games this season, possibly. Where are you on what you've seen? Because this is they have talent at the skill guys.
Yeah, they do.
We've seen growth in Caleb Williams. Certainly.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think slowly, for sure. But I think what we have solidified in the last 2 games specifically, considering what happened against Jaden Daniels and the Commanders last year with the Hail Mary, then going back there again this year and playing the way they played and the way they ran the football in these 2 games, and I'll get to that in a second. They have solidified the fact that this is the right guy. Like, Ben Johnson is the right guy. The hire was the right move. Yeah. And not just for the quarterback, but for the culture of the team already. Yeah. We have seen.
Ben Johnson has surprised me on how well he has adapted.
The other part, yeah.
The other parts of the managing that some people did say they thought he would struggle. And you hearing some of the conversations coming out of Chicago saying that he's very vocal. He does hold guys accountable. So that's encouraging to hear, because there were some things in Detroit where people were like, man, this is a dude that he draws up plays with his door closed, and he doesn't really socialize.
Yeah, exactly. And we're seeing a fiery guy in the building. Yep. And we're seeing that. And I wanted to add this to why I love what the Bears are doing lately. During the bye week, my understanding was he preached one thing. We need to run the ball better. We don't run the ball well. And how well did he run the ball, and how much played off of the run when he was in Detroit and he was able to operate his offense that way? And he would not stop during the bye week. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. What have they done the last 2 weeks? I think it's 145 and 222 in the last 2 games.
They ran the ball extremely well. And Ben Johnson already understands DeAndre Swift. He was there. DeAndre Swift was on the roster when they got Jahmyr Gibbs, and people were like, why would you do that? Well, they planned on moving.
That's why I was curious, though, if Ben liked Swift or not, because they moved him.
You got to understand, sometimes the offensive coordinators don't have a say. The head coach.
Good point.
But rarely do the offensive coordinators have a say on draft day, right? Each team, depending on how they do it, at some point in the 5th, 6th, 7th round, coaches, general managers will say, hey, defensive line coach, we said we're going to get a guy. We're in the 5th round. Who do you like? Who's a guy that you're saying, hey, I would love to have this type of player? Like, teams do that.
And that varies by building, Steve.
Yes, it does.
Some teams do not allow many people to have a voice at all.
I know.
There's very few voices in that room.
But you also know that every so often, later in the rounds, where it doesn't cost anything.
Who do you love?
Who do you love? And they'll be like, oh, give me that guy. And it's like, okay. And sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't.
So what they've done with that run, the outside zone stuff, it's part of it's the offensive line too. I mean, they're getting like 4 yards before contact on a lot of these runs. So I think, to me, Ben Johnson fixing that is massive. The other part of it is you've seen, and this is kind of what I've been told, and I think this is an adverse way to say it. I feel like I use that word a lot lately, but this is an opposite way to say it than everybody is saying it. It's
ass backwards.
It's not. Ben Johnson has to learn this about Caleb Williams, and
Caleb Williams needs to learn this about
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson, and you can see that is the issue. At times when Caleb doesn't throw on time, when the timing of the offense is discombobulated, right? And you can see the result of it. And Caleb tries to kind of do some things off schedule that a young guy does, where there's a play action or there's something going on where all of the flow is starting right, going left. And he stays on the right side, and he's waiting for guys to get open. Hey, man, everybody's on the other side of the field because it was a play action with rotation to the left. That's what a young quarterback has to understand, and especially a quarterback who a lot of times likes to be on the move. It doesn't work in Ben Johnson's offense. You look at Ben Johnson's offense, or who he's had in the prior years, non-mobile, a guy who's going to go through his progressions, Jared Goff. Jared Goff is not known. He got on some Jordans, but he ain't trying to get them dirty. Okay, he is not known for.
He'll catch a touchdown pass every now and then, though. But
yes,
he is not known to move.
Hey, don't. Hey man, I just had a kid. Don't put me in harm's way. I'm trying to be their daddy. So I just see that. But here's the glaring thing that nobody's talking about, and let me talk about it. Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator for Chicago Bears. I'm in New Orleans. I see exactly why they ran your ass out of here when you was the head coach and the defensive coordinator. He ain't very good. That defense is on the struggle bus, and Dennis Allen is the focal point.
True. Last couple of weeks, forces some turnovers, which they need.
Yeah, they're forcing turnovers, but they're also giving up a lot of explosive plays.
Certainly.
Right.
I think, though, that what we're saying is, before we move on to the next team, is both sides, though, are headed in the right direction of the ball. Right? I mean, I think they are.
But here's the problem.
Better.
Here's the problem with one side of the ball who can't afford injuries is the defense. True. Dennis Allen does not have the capability of out coaching injuries. His scheme doesn't do that. His scheme is primarily man coverage with a little bit of zone, or he'll switch it up and trick you and say, hey, we're going to go primarily zone and then screw it up and then switch to man, and then you realize you're getting your ass kicked. It's just too much. It's too helter-skelter with that defense, and that's been potentially what Dennis Allen has been known for, has been a very up-and-down defense, inconsistent, and it's hampered the offense, and it puts too much pressure on them, and you'll see it later in the season.
Who would you put next? I'm assuming the 4-1 Green Bay Packers?
That's what I would put the 4-1 Green Bay Packers just because they're running the ball way too much. I mean, passing the ball way too much. They are not running the football as much as they should. Really missing. Some people are saying they're missing two key guys at the wide receiver position. They're not missing him because they don't believe that he hasn't had a career yet where consistently showing that he's available. Talking about Christian Watson, right? But Jalen Reed really makes that offense go. His ability to line up all over the field, attract enough defensive attention. They're missing that. Golden, he's doing the best he can. He's a young guy, but without Jalen Reed, they're just missing that extra that allows them to be explosive, and they're putting way too much on Jordan Love. I just don't like what they're doing, and they're not running the football enough, staying in shotgun pistol formation a little bit too much, and getting a little too cute. Kraft is
Kraft's a good player.
That's a hell of a player, right? Yeah. Romeo Doubs hasn't really exploded the way he usually does because they don't have the guys that are all playing their roles, and that's going to continue to create a little bit of confusion of who are the Green Bay Packers, because once they got Michael Parsons, it was an instant, oh man, Super Bowl contending. Michael Parsons just had his best game of his career.
Remember week one.
Right?
Week one, it was whoo.
Oh,
and now,
they've arrived.
You're right. This week he's coming off his best week as Green Bay Packers.
Best week, however, really looked pedestrian-like and shouldn't have with the offense for the Green Bay Packers, because I felt like they got too cute and was pass happy way too much.
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of weeks for them. I still think they're a good team.
They are,
and they have the talent. They're young, but like the last couple of weeks, it's kind of like I thought they'd be a little bit different than this. They still have plenty of time, and they still have won most of those games. Yep. But it's like, should you be in a dogfight at the end of the game with Jacoby Brissett in the Cardinals? Like, I'm not sure you should be if you want to get to where you want to get. The Lions, Steve.
Yes.
Is this the best team in football?
Some people don't want to hear this because Philadelphia Eagles are back. Yet they only had their first 300-yard passing game in 22 games. But
a lot of people also say the Chiefs are back.
Yeah, a lot of people. Yes, also the Chiefs looked great with Rashid Rice. But what I watched, how they were, the Detroit Lions were able to run the football. This is all I was thinking about when I was watching Jahmyr Gibbs run the football. And the play that I'm referring to is the little cutesy play that they had where they had St. Brown, they handed it off to him, and then he pitched it. And he pitched that thing a hot potato. He didn't want no smoke. Yo ball, hot potato, you got it. Mm-hmm. And Jahmyr Gibbs is stopped, but just shows not just the speed, not just the willingness, but the power that he has. And I was thinking, how much is this kid gonna get paid? Is he Saquon Barkley money or above?
Would you say it's kind of like, I mean, we saw Sunday night Christian McCaffrey be old Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Would you say it's him, CMC when he's at his best, Bijan? Like that's these weapons, these offensive weapons.
Saquon too. Saquon too, you know, he's not getting his opportunity, but Saquon.
Jonathan Taylor has been outstanding this year.
Right. Omar before he got hurt with the Los Angeles Chargers.
Omari Hampton.
Yeah, Omari Hampton from Chapel Hill, UNC Chapel Hill. You know, so I had the opportunity to watch him a little bit. But seeing Jahmyr Gibbs at Alabama, watching him run, he was like, man, I think.
And people question the pick.
Watching him, and it's like, he did that in college. Mm-hmm. What you're seeing him do is exactly what he did in college.
Yeah. I look at what they were able to do offensively. Jameson Williams didn't do anything, and it was fine. They have enough weapons that you can have a player not be really a big part of what you did, and you still put up the explosive plays that they put up. I think the biggest thing that jumps out at me is they in a league that just the number one thing is the way defenses play. You can't get explosive plays. They get them through the run game. They get them through the pass game. They get them through the yards after the catch.
Yep.
They can be explosive, and even with everybody hurt in their secondary, they limited a very explosive offense in Tampa Bay. Now, I know they have a ton of injuries, and we saw Mike Evans go down. They can be explosive. Even without their secondary, they were limited explosive. I'm going to give Kelvin Shepard a shout-out for the way he's coaching this defense. And, you know, it was like he's been on this staff. You're going to lose Aaron Glenn. Who's going to step in? They didn't panic that Kelvin was going to step in. Like, they didn't think it was going to be a problem. And he coached his butt off on Monday against a Bucs team with a completely depleted secondary, and so I think they have everything and they can out physical you, and I think that's number one, especially in the trenches on both sides of the ball.
Look, Kyle Long, shout out to Kyle Long a couple of years ago. He and James Palmer, both of you two had stated how the teams a couple of years ago would play. No matter if they won or lost, it was an impact of how physical the Detroit Lions are. I did see last night, though, Jahmyr Gibbs and Penei Sewell, when he missed that block, he was perturbed.
Perturbed.
He was mad. He was like, because Penei, but you got to understand, Penei is also a big dude. When you get you got that mountain of a man moving, I think Penei was hitting 19 miles per hour.
Ooh.
When you get that much going, jeez.
Man, yeah, I think they're only going to get better as it goes, and they're getting healthier, especially on the defensive line.
That's the important part that I think of. Sometimes people need to be more aware. Is right now at the end of October, this is where teams kind of lose momentum or gain momentum is when they start to either get healthy. Mm-hmm. Or teams start to get unhealthy where they're getting players hurt in the late October, November. So the opportunity for those guys to come back, and if they do come back, they're not really in football shape. So if you have a guy that gets hurt training camp in September, now he can use October, which is awkward, and then you could get back into normalcy with November, and then you hitting on all cylinders in December when the whole team is. Yeah. But when you get hurt right now, like Hassim, Rock Hassim, he's coming up limp. Seeing his hammy, man, that's a guy that he's been playing well, and all of a sudden now you lose him, and then the next man up. But there's always reasons why the next man up wasn't starting. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. They played well. Played well.
They
against
did
Tampa.
play well. But you know what I'm saying?
But you're right. Yeah. But what the idea of your depth is to hold you over, hopefully,
Yes.
until player X
Until
can
the
come
guy
back.
that you want and you pay comes back.
Exactly. All right. Last question as we wrap this up about the NFC North. Which skill group players would you take out of this entire division? Would it be the Packers group? Would it be the Bears group? Would it be the Vikings group? Would it be the Lions group? Because the reason I asked this as we were preparing for this, I'm like, man, they're all good.
They're all good. They are all good.
I mean, everybody's got a tight end, Steve. Everybody's got they're all pretty good groups.
I would say which group do I think is better based on just the supporting cast, meaning it has to go with the Detroit Lions. I'm not sold on Caleb Williams because he needs to show that he can be on-time thrower. When he becomes an on-time thrower, it'll be good. But here's the problem with Chicago and their receiving core. The guy who, the top dog, my spirit animal, DJ Moore, he's starting to get phased out a little bit. And Rome Odunze is becoming the number one guy. They're sprinkling in a little bit of Luther Burden, trying to get him involved. But I think Rome plays a better style according to the off schedule and sometimes the scrambling around that Caleb Williams does.
Plays. Okay.
Right. I don't like the quarterback play, and I don't trust the quarterback play for the Minnesota Vikings. So I can't say Jordan Addison and the Minnesota Vikings and
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson.
Hawkinson.
Because the quarterback play is so tough. And I without Jaden Reed with the Green Bay Packers, it's just really tough because there's no real emerging star in his absence while he's on IR.
It seems like they're trying to find more targets for Matthew Golden. You think that's the case, or
they are, but I don't think they have figured out what he can do. I think they're running into the issues of what he cannot do, and so what he cannot do currently right now as a rookie.
Gotcha.
He's gonna get better, but just right now, they seem to be a lot of screens, a lot of short stuff. When you watch him at Texas, everything was explosive.
Yeah, gotta have at moments. They look for Tucker Kraft, honestly.
Yeah, Tucker Kraft is a beast.